Welcome to the podcast From Coffee to Cases, the show for small law firm attorneys who want to stop begging for leads and start building a business that runs on referrals and real relationships.
Hello and welcome back to From Coffee to Cases with Delisi Friday. Delisi is the founder of First Call Friday, where she helps lawyers build real referral relationships that don't leave lawyers beholden to ad spend. I'm Kevin Rosenquist, and today we're talking about a topic brought up on LinkedIn from Kurt London of London Harker Injury Law. Here is what Kurt had to say. Tell me the truth. Are you tracking referral partners in a system or straight up operating off vibes and panic? I'm seriously wondering, how do you referral wizards keep track of everything? All right, Delisi, so there's the question. It's a good one. Welcome.
Hi, welcome. I love the question. I love it.
Well, first of all, he called you a referral wizard, so that's nice.
I'll take it.
You'll take it. Yeah, yeah. So what do you make of this question? What do you say?
I think it's a great question because when you start to get so many referrals, trying to track the data can feel overwhelming. And what Kurt's talking about is not really all the information you typically put in your case management system. So he's right. You have to figure out how you track beyond the case management system when you get to a certain point with all of these referrals.
So let's hone in on this piece by piece. So where does someone start if their target list is small, say 5 to 10 names total?
Yeah, I think when it comes to 5 to 10 names, the simplest thing to do is just start with your Excel spreadsheet. Anyone who's been listening to the podcast knows I give out the Excel spreadsheet template that I've created, where you've got the 3 different tiers of referral partners. I have the columns of where you put certain notes. So for anyone who is listening to this show for the first time, if you visit my website and go to the resources tab, you can download that template and start from there. So my recommendation for those who are starting small would be to download the Excel template because I've set it up for you and you can just use that.
I like this. So Kurt was talking about ideas for things that you should track, and he said birthdays, kids' names, favorite drink orders, pet allergies, the fact that one referral partner only drinks Diet Pepsi in a can and another hates phone calls but loves voice memos. I thought that was pretty funny. So what do you track? What do you think they should track?
I think they should track all of those things. All of those things are important, right? There is a previous episode that you and I did, ways to get to know your referral sources personally, and also gifting ideas to create and grow relationships. So for anyone who hasn't listened to those episodes, let's please put a link in the show notes for those two, because I think it goes hand in hand, because what Kurt's talking about is all of the information that you want to know about your referral partners so you can create a relationship with them and you learn more about them. So first, I would start with birthdays. Birthdays are simple. You should be tracking your referral partners' birthdays because you want to know, okay, am I going to send them a card? Am I going to mail them a gift? Am I going to call them and tell them happy birthday? Which I recommend because no one gets phone calls on their birthday anymore. It's always just a text.
Yep.
So I would call them.
Yep. Or a social media message.
Yes, exactly. It's
Yeah.
not the same. It's
Yeah.
not the same.
I
So
agree.
start with birthdays. Birthdays are simple. It's somewhat easy to figure out because you can go online, creep because you care, right? To find that information out. And I would start there. Then the personal information, again, going back to those prior podcast episodes where we talk about asking questions so you can learn more about your referral partners. I would be putting down anything that you can list in your Excel document or your CRM to track things that you can do to develop that relationship further. And I would also add name of their staff. And so I add name of their staff because let's say that I'm trying to call Kevin and I forget the name of Kevin's assistant, or if Kevin's assistant is not available and I need to know who else in the law firm I can reach out to, I want to know that information.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be adding other staff names to that information because you want to make sure you have multiple contacts within a law firm at all times, which I think was something we mentioned in a previous podcast episode as well. And I would also list food allergies. And the reason why I say that is because, first of all, I have celiac disease. So I have a very serious gluten allergy. And I'm always hyper aware of food allergies because I know what it's like to not be able to eat everything.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to gifting, you never want to send, I don't know, Maria a whole Christmas basket full of nuts and you forgot that Maria has a nut allergy.
Mm-hmm.
And you never want to send someone a gift that includes something they can't have because you forgot about their food allergy. So sometimes people forget about food allergies because they don't have to worry about it. But as someone who cannot have gluten, it will make me very, very sick. I'm really aware of it. And anyone who has a food allergy will appreciate it. Also, some people only eat kosher and some
Right.
people are vegan. And so, those things make a difference because there are a lot of people who feel comfortable gifting baskets or things that have food. And I love that. But you just want to make sure you have those food allergies written somewhere so you're not gifting someone something that they can't have.
Yeah, it's a good point too. I mean, we talked in the past about. I remember you talking. Like we did an exercise, and you asked me about my son's soccer and stuff like that because you knew my son played soccer, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense. All of that stuff. How do you collect some of that data? Because soccer is one thing, but a specific food allergy could be tricky. You know.
Yeah, I think, well, in the previous episode where we were talking about finding out about someone, that's where an assistant can be helpful too, asking some of those questions of the assistant. I like to be proactive. And so if I don't ask my referral partner this information, I might ask someone in their office this information and say, "Hey, Susan, I really want to think about something to gift Kevin in the future. Do you know if he has any food allergies that I need to be aware of?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if there's something that he really likes that you can share with me?" And again, it goes back to the assistant, if they have one, is a really great source of information. You just have to ask the assistant the question in order to find out. And so, I would go back to that episode and ask some of those questions of the assistant or ask some of those questions yourself. And again, we creep because we care. There's probably something on social media where you can find out what that person likes. I had a lawyer just last week who said, "Delisi, can we spend this session where you help me figure out holiday gifts?" And I said, "Okay, tell me who your referral source is." And we went online and I looked up the lawyer and I said, "Okay, great. Here's their social media. They like hunting. They like this kind of bourbon. They like UT Longhorn football." Like all the things were there. And I said, "Okay, pick your adventure. Let's figure out which of these things that we know they like that you can gift with." And so we were able to find that information online. So it's there either online or someone else in the office has it. You just got to ask the question.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was a great point before is knowing people's names. Because not
Hmm.
only does that make your life easier, but there's something about like when someone knows the names of all the people in the office, and there's just like this. I don't know. It's impressive because I think everybody. How often do you hear this? Oh, I'm terrible with names. Like
Yeah,
so many people say that. So when you have someone who's just like, oh, Delisi, how's it going? Oh, hey, Kevin, what's going on? You're just kind of like, holy cow, that guy knows my name. I don't. We met one time. Like
exactly.
it's impressive.
It makes it personal too.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's say someone now that is listening and they have more than 10 referral sources. They've got a lot, they've got a big group of them. Maybe that Excel spreadsheet isn't really enough or gets really like hard on the eyes and the brain. What would you recommend to them?
At that point, then I would say they really need to start considering their options for a CRM. But what I would caution everyone before making that jump. because it's a decision that you need to make very intentionally and decide which one's right for you. I would reach out to someone and make sure your case management system can't already do what you are looking for.
Hmm.
So I have a colleague, Jay McAllister of Paragon Tech, and all he does is he helps lawyers who need their case management system to work for them, and he helps them cater it. I would call someone like Jay and say, hey, if I'm looking to run a report with this kind of information, do you know if my case management system can do these things? And I would ask that question first because what you don't want to do is spend a whole bunch of money on a CRM. And then later you find out your case management system could have actually done it for you.
Yep.
You just had to get it set up in that way. So, like FileVine, I've used FileVine before, and I know people who have FileVine dashboards. Some of my clients were not aware that you can create a dashboard within FileVine. So when I know that, because I have clients who do, they are blown away. They're like, wait a second, my FileVine can have a dashboard that runs all of this. And I'm like, yes, my other client over here has one. You just have to create it. So before you go jump in buying some, I don't know, Salesforce or something like that, my recommendation is first make sure your case management system is not able to handle what you need before you go and spend that kind of money. Now, if you have the money, and you realize your case management system does not do all of those things, then it is time to look at a CRM. So I have some clients who use a CRM called KNACK, KNACK, and that one is not charged per user, which is really nice because some of these platforms you have to pay tons of money per
I
user.
know it gets expensive too.
Yes, and that's the other part of it. When you're making these decisions, you don't want to buy a CRM and then you're like, holy moly, I've added 5 people and now that's 3x what I thought I was going to spend. You don't want
Right.
to do that. I have other lawyers who use a program called Levitate, which has some AI systems in it that will automate a lot of things that you need to do to follow up with your referral sources. I know a few people use something called Notion. And then I myself and a couple of my clients use Go High Level. There are a ton out there, not just the 3 or 4, however many I just listed. It really depends on what your needs are. And then I would also determine how many people are going to be using this and ask the question, does this integrate with my case management system? And what are you going to do with it? Because if you have multiple people using that CRM and you're integrating it with your case management system, you need to be asking those questions in advance before you buy anything. And
Hmm.
then also, when you make that decision for future you. Make that decision for the law firm you want in 3 years and 5 years. Because if your marketing team is going to grow, you need to be buying a system that's going to grow with your team. That's where you spend more money to buy something like Infusionsoft, which is now called Keep, or Salesforce, which is like the biggest of the big. You spend more money because you know you're going to build a team that's going to do some really detailed campaigns and utilize that system in a way that the others don't. So when you make the decision, just make sure you're thinking to yourself, okay, what does future me need 3, 5 years from now? So you don't buy something that's only good for a short amount of time.
Yeah, that's such a good point too, because a lot of work goes in. It's not just the money. Like a lot of these take a lot of time to set up, and a lot of times, like Notion's great, but it's there's a learning curve there, and you can get templates to help you and all that, but you're gonna put in a lot of time to get it all set up to where you need it to go, no matter what you choose. So make sure it's the right fit for you. Some of them are way easier for the less tech heavy people. Some of them
Yeah.
are take a certain amount of technological skill to be able to really utilize everything in it. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I cannot recommend more for people. I've talked to people about this before. Do your research. Take time. Make it like you said, intentional. Really focus on what things offer and what it does for you and your team.
Yeah. And also, I mean, regardless of what you buy, you're going to have to pay someone to set it up.
Yeah,
And
that's true
then you're
too.
going to have to pay them to train your team.
And train your
So,
team. Yep.
I mean, those numbers start to add up.
Absolutely. And some of them, like to your point, Salesforce is so big and so robust. Like you might not need that. I know it's the
Yeah.
name everybody knows, but if you're a small team and you don't have that big of needs, don't pay for that because it's got so much stuff in it. It's just going to confuse you.
Yeah. That would be like Salesforce is like a machine gun when really all you need is like a little pellet gun.
Yeah, just a little tick.
Yeah. I'm from Texas, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're from
let me give
Texas.
you a
That's
gun
true. Yep.
analogy.
Yep. Yep. I'm from Colorado, so it probably would have been some sort of beer reference. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we put all this together and a lawyer has a way to track the information in an Excel spreadsheet or what we just talked about, a more complex CRM, what do you do to make sure you do something with that information?
Yes. So when you're setting up all of this information, you need to think about what kind of data am I going to collect? Are those fields in the CRM when I'm purchasing it? How does this integrate into my case management system? Because that information is important to be able to talk to each other. And then think to yourself, what kind of reports do I want to run? We talked earlier about the kinds of reports that you want to see when it comes to marketing data in our last episode. And so think to yourself when you're building this out, what data do I want? And how do I want to see it in a report? And again, going back to last episode, who's responsible for filling in this information and who's responsible for holding that person accountable so the data is in that system. And when you're building it all out, I would be thinking about all of those things. So you make sure that you've got the reports that you want, the accountability for who's going to go in there, making sure it's there. You're tracking the data that you want. And I know it sounds silly, but the other thing I would add is notifications. Um,
Ah, yeah. Reminders.
yeah, you have to think to yourself about how often you want a notification on something and what it's about. And I'll give you an example to bring this full circle. I mentioned in the previous episode how important it is to have case open and case close dates in your marketing data because you want to know, hey, how long has it been since Kevin sent me a case? Hey, do I only have one more case open with Kevin left? Let me keep that in mind. You want that information so you know the information, but also you want to know if someone's fallen off your list, if someone hasn't referred you a case in a while. So when I say notifications, I don't mean like a little ding in your system because someone filled in the information. I'm talking about proactive notifications that tell you information you need to know to act on it. So one example is, what is a notification that I want if one of my referral sources hasn't sent me a case in, I don't know, 90 days or 6 months or 1 year, whatever that data point is? I want a notification like that so I know if I need to reconnect with someone because we haven't been referred a case in a while. Do I want a notification if a referral partner of mine has a case, one case left with us, and it's going to close in the next 90 days? Then I know to keep that person in mind and let's see if we can get another case referral in before it closes. So just think about notifications proactively that help you make decisions that keep your referrals consistent.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff for sure. All right, well, thanks for listening to today's episode of From Coffee to Cases, tracking your referral contacts, like their likes, their dislikes, their birthdays, and more is a lot, but it doesn't have to be too much. Find a system that works for you so you don't run off of intuition and vibes, as our friend Kurt London so eloquently put it. Thank you very much to Kurt for sending in that question. We encourage everybody to reach out to Delisi and see, and tell us what's going on. Tell us what's on your mind and what you'd like to hear about, and we can talk about it in a future episode. Delisi, what would you say? What's the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
I would say the best way is obviously LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a message on LinkedIn like Kurt did, tag me in a comment. I would love it. And if you're not on LinkedIn, shame on you. You should be. But you can also just go to my website and then click on the contact tab and submit a form.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much, Delisi. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for listening. Delisi, I'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast. And please share this episode with a peer who can also benefit from case referrals. For more information or to connect with me, Delisi Friday, visit firstcallfriday.com.